Prince Harry has brought a lawsuit against the Daily Mail and I think the Mail on Sunday and their publishers, the Associated Newspapers Limited. So you'll see it referred to in articles as. And I saw it reported in quite a few places because people were like, well, what is he doing here? Right? Because firstly, it's a preliminary hearing. So it's been reported that allegedly he didn't even need to attend. He wasn't even required to attend. And even if he was required to attend, or even if he wasn't required to attend and he wanted to attend, my personal view is that if he's domiciled or he's living in another country, i.e., the United States, then surely he could have asked the court permission to attend by video. I don't know whether that was requested and refused, but it would seem quite harsh, would it not, that a judge would say, no, you've got to fly all the way over to the United Kingdom to attend a hearing that apparently you don't even need to attend. So it seems a bit odd. It also seems odd that he went through the front entrance of the court and not the side entrance, like I understand the other celebrities did. So it seems really odd that day one, he rocks up in a taxi and goes through the front entrance on a main road and goes right through a press pack. This is the guy who says privacy, privacy. This is the guy who says, I see the click of a camera or I hear a click of a camera and that flashing light and it brings me back to all this trauma. And he just walks straight through these cameras. It seems odd. And so to me, it seems like he wanted the attention. It seems like he wanted to make an entrance. It seems like he wanted all of that press attention. And the reasons why could be a number of reasons. I mean, some people say this is just now a media hungry guy, that he's now taken on, the LA lifestyle, the Hollywood lifestyle, the paparazzi lifestyle, always in the center of attention, always on the front page of the news. And that he's, now he's like Meghan Markle, always smiling in front of the camera, smiling, being followed by the paparazzi in LA and all these eateries and all these famous hotspots. And he's kind of caught on to that lifestyle. Now look at him kind of grinning and smiling, look, like this. Grinning and smiling at the camera. People were saying he looked really cocky, that he looked really smug. So yeah, and I've seen it reported that, well, perhaps he wants to show how important this case is to him. Therefore, he made an appearance. Therefore, he made the effort to fly all the way from Montecito, California, to arrive at this court case. He wanted to show people what was important to him, which is remarkable, really, because there's been other things that he hasn't flown over for. So it seems a bit bizarre that this is his priority and not other things. Like, for example, when Prince Philip was in hospital, or for Prince Philip's memorial, or to go and see his grandmother who was passing away. So it seems odd, but hey, he's entitled to his priorities. And there we are. And I'm only reporting on what's out there. So I don't know what goes on in the family and I might have all the facts wrong. So, okay, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I've also seen it reported that because this case is important to him, maybe he wants to bring attention to the case. So, people have said, well, it's only a preliminary hearing. What the heck? But actually, it's now blown up in the media. And perhaps it's blown up because he's made it blown up. So he's bringing attention and bringing spotlight to this particular case, to the issues in this case, so that it's in the forefront of the public's mind because it is plastered all over the newspapers, because he brings that kind of attention with him wherever he goes. I've also seen it reported that perhaps it's a PR stunt, right? Because, there has been a sense that Harry and Meghan are trying a kind of new PR move. Now we're seeing them sort of doing separate projects, and we don't often see them together so much in public, other than these sort of paparazzi shots when they're out on date nights or receiving awards together. But they're going off and they're doing their own projects, and they're not arm in arm or hand in hand, salt and pepper always together, all of that business, all of the shots where they're looking at each other and looking into each other's eyes, or one person's talking and the other person's staring at them in admiration. Like, we're not seeing so much of that as we did when they were in the royal family. So people are saying, well, perhaps they are changing their PR strategy. And so this might be a part of the PR strategy, because Harry is trying to portray that he is some kind of savior, that he is adamant that it's his life work to change the British media, to somehow save this country from this corrupted criminal media. And, we know he has a thing about the British media, and it's a real big shame. It's a real big shame, because he needs the media, right? He needs it, good or bad. He needs the media, and he relies on the media, and his wife relies on the media, good or bad, and he has had various things like, for example, when he was in Afghanistan, that was not reported anywhere, and the press kept that under wraps. And I believe it was an article in an Australian newspaper, or an Australian reporter, that broke the story that he was in Afghanistan, he had to be taken out. So that, again, wasn't British press, but the British press kept all of that quiet. It's also been reported that perhaps he'd always planned to attend this court hearing and always planned this kind of arrival on Monday, even though nobody knew about it. So it was kind of secretive. But he had always planned it because Monday was supposed to be the day that King Charles and Queen Camilla were supposed to be in France on a state visit. And it was supposed to be this like big deal. Some people say, well, he had planned this entrance and planned to attend on this day to take the limelight off of his father on something that was supposed to be an important trip and an important day, so that Harry would be all over the newspapers and all over the front pages, and Charles wouldn't. Now, the royal visit to France was cancelled, in fact, because there has been protests in France. And on Wednesday, Charles was in Germany. So it's odd, because I do not think Harry attended court on Wednesday. But he did attend on Tuesday, but he attended through the side entrance. And then this is interesting here, because this paragraph here is referring to Harry's lawsuit against the UK government, because he is wanting to be provided with royal protection whenever his family and he are in the UK, and he wants to be able to pay for that royal protection. Now, the royal protection is paid for by the taxpayer, and there isn't a system whereby a private individual who is rich, right, is able to buy that royal protection. But Harry is suing the government on that. So that's relevant, because he is saying that I don't feel safe, my family are not safe. He's alleging that there are right-wing extremists that have threatened his wife, and so they do not feel safe in the UK. And yet he arrives in a taxi in a main road in front of a court building. And he and his family have been to the UK on a number of occasions. And I'm just going to leave it there. You can make up your mind on that.
So, yeah, I mean,
it has also been reported, as you can see here, according to the Telegraph, Harry made contact with his estranged dad ahead of his trip home, but he was told the king was busy. So, first of all, why is this being reported? Where has this information come from? Is it being given by Harry's camp? And if it is, why? Is it necessary? Is it necessary for the news to have every single detail of what goes on? Oh, I tried to speak to my brother, I tried to speak to my dad, and they didn't want to speak to me, they were busy. Oh, I got an email from my dad's office in relation to the coronation. Like, we don't need to know this stuff. Why is it coming out? Who is giving this information? It may not be Harry, but I mean, I don't know. I would be surprised if it's not, because who has that kind of information? He's tried to contact his dad and his dad said he was busy. We don't need to know that stuff, okay? And you know he's busy because you were a working royal. The guy is king. You know these diaries are booked months in advance. You know he was supposed to be in France, okay? And even if he's not supposed to be in France, there's a million of other things that they put in place if stuff gets cancelled, and he's in Germany. And you know that it's the Easter holidays. You know that your brother and his wife and his kids are off somewhere. Fancy that, somewhere private that we don't know about. Fancy that you can have a private life, even being senior members of the royal family, and they're not being hounded by the paparazzi on holiday. I mean, heaven forbid that that's even possible. Obviously, Kate and William are showing otherwise. So they've gone off somewhere with their beautiful family, off on holiday. So you know that, Harry, you know that. You know, I don't really know why these little things, these little bits end up in the news. And it might not necessarily be from him. And if it is, then if it's not, then I'm sorry. But I find it really annoying when you see these little, we received an email from the King's office in relation to the coronation, and we are not going to yet report whether we are attending. Why do you need to report that stuff? And even after the Oprah interview, when Gayle King, for God's sakes, of all people, who is this person, in America, reports, I've been told that there's been a phone call between his father and him and Harry and his brother, and it hasn't been successful. Oh, excuse me? First of all, who are you? Who are you in relation to this royal family? You are nothing. Who are you? And secondly, why is this being reported? It's ridiculous. It's so minutiae. It's minutiae, it's personal, it's private. We do not need to know these little things. I don't need to know every time you contacted your dad and he was busy. He's the King of England. Oh my God. And also, I think it's quite worrying that there's been bits and pieces in the press about Harry's visa in America. And you know how he made all these drug disclosures. Oh, I've used drugs here, blah, blah, blah. And there's been some nonsense in the news about, oh, will that jeopardize his visa? Will he not be allowed to remain in America? Will he not be allowed to enter? I mean, call me gullible, okay, but I live in the real world. And there's no way in the real world that a Prince of England, multi-millionaire, is going to be held to the same standard as the average Joe who's filling out an American visa application. I don't even think that he's got an American visa application. He was just tapped on the shoulder by President Biden, and you know what I mean? It just seems ridiculous. I can't imagine Harry sitting there printing off his bloody visa application and filling in, right, first name, middle name, what's my passport number? It just seems to me so ridiculous. He must have some sort of diplomatic, I don't even know, some special arrangement, special this, special that. And these people that are I want to know, how did he fill in his visa application? And did he get special treatment? If he did, it's against the law. God bless you. God bless you that you're trying. But honestly, I would be alarmed if this man can't return back into the country. Okay, I would be alarmed if he can't return back to the United States of America. I would be alarmed. So some nonsense about, oh, he's here and is he going to be allowed to return back to America? And why did he come if there's these question marks over his visa? And is he here because maybe there's issues with his visa? I don't believe it. I don't believe it until I see it, okay? Until I see it. So obviously there's the rest of the article here, so please do read it because I only ever sort of refer to bits of it. So, please excuse me. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that my channel can grow and I can make more videos. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye.